Jackson swings, hits it in the air, deep to right field. He has done it again. Unbelievable.
Coming up, we'll have a recap of the previous Padres game, a preview of today's starting pitching matchup, our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Mike Shildt.
Ultimately, what we're here to do is win.
From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today, the Padres take on the Boston Red Sox in the final game of a 3-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the Red Sox, right-hander Brian Bayo, and for the Padres, right-hander Dylan Cease. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you from inside the Western Metal Building here at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 1:10 as the Padres play the rubber game of this 3-game series before heading on the road. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. I go one-on-one with Red Sox rookie Roman Anthony. Plus, coming up in just a little bit, we hear from Padres radio voice Jesse Agler. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971, with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Padres come into today 65-52. They've won 10 of their last 13. They enter the day 3 games out of first place in the National League West behind the LA Dodgers. Padres also sitting in the NL second wildcard spot. Meanwhile, the Red Sox come in 65-53. They sit 3 games behind Toronto for first place in the American League East. They are tied for the AL's first wildcard spot. Red Sox, much like the Padres, playing very good baseball right now. They've won 8 of 10. They're 22-8 in their last 30 games. Well, we had a fun one last night here at Petco Park. We needed some extra innings. Let's rewind.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
The Padres trailed 1-0 going to the bottom half of the second. Xander Bogaerts led off.
And Xander hits it in the air to left field. Anthony backing up, still going back. He is at the wall. This one gonna go. Xander Bogaerts' first hit against the Red Sox is a home run, and it ties the game here in the second inning.
Red Sox scoring 2 in the top of the third, take a 3-1 lead. Padres answered in the bottom half of the third. Bogaerts delivered again an RBI single to make it 3-2. In the bottom half of the fifth, Red Sox starter Lucas Giolito got really wild. He walked 4 in a row to bring in 2 runs. Padres took a 4-3 lead. Fast forward to the 9th inning. Padres still leading 4-3. Robert Suarez came on for the save opportunity. Cedar Rafaela hit a leadoff single for the Red Sox. He stole second base. He was still on second with 1 out for rookie Roman Anthony.
0-1. Suarez kicks and deals. That's in the air to left center field. Long run. Merrill on the move. Not going to get there. That'll tie the game as it hops over the left field wall. A ground rule double for Roman Anthony. Rafaela scores, and we start anew. 4-4 here in the ninth.
Suarez got out of the inning, kept the game tied at 4. Aroldis Chapman retired the side in order in the bottom half of the 9th. Jason Adam came on for the top of the 10th inning. He put up a scoreless frame. So we still had a 4-4 game. Going to the bottom half of the 10th, the Padres had their automatic runner on second base. The Red Sox intentionally walked Ryan O'Hearn to get to Ramon Laureano.
First pitch on the way, and a bouncer over the head of the third baseman, Bregman down the left field line. Bogaerts is on his way. Anthony's throw to the plate is not in time, and Ramon Laureano walks it off as the Padres beat the Red Sox 5-4 in 10.
What a nice win for the Padres. Ramon Laureano, who continues to be so good in a Padre uniform. He delivers again. 8 RBIs already since joining the San Diego Padres. The walk-off hero last night as the Padres evened up this 3-game set at a game apiece, and it now sets up the rubber match of this 3-game series with first pitch coming up here in downtown San Diego at 1:10 p.m. on what is an absolutely gorgeous early Sunday afternoon. Bright blue skies, the sun is shining, everybody having a good time here inside the loft, enjoying their beers and their mixed drinks and all the great food they have to offer here at Petco Park. And we'll see if the Padres can win this series against a very good Red Sox team. Let's go inside the Jerry Coleman Broadcast Center.
let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Jesse Agler in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Jesse, let's first touch on last night. Ramon Laureano continues to shine in his brief time as a Padre. What have your early impressions been of Ramon Laureano?
Oh man, this guy is he's all business. He is a gamer, as we like to say, and you can just tell he's sort of got that killer instinct personality out there on the field. You know, he's a guy that is very serious about the game of baseball. From what I've been able to gather in a couple of conversations with him, he cares very little for anything besides the game of baseball. And every clubhouse needs a guy or two like that. You know, I mean, he is just a locked-in, stone-cold kind of guy out there. And I think, you know, those are the kind of traits maybe you look for somebody to come up late in the game in a big situation. We've already seen it a couple of times now. Obviously, you got to have the bat control and the skill and the eye and all that, which he certainly does. But he feels like a very, very good fit right now. As you know, Sam, the reality is at the trade deadline, you bring guys in, you know what their numbers are. You might have a little bit of a general sense of what their personality is, but you never really know how they're going to fit, you know, on the field outside of maybe X's and O's. And it sure looks like here in the first week plus, Ramon Laureano is a perfect fit for the Padres.
Turning the page to today's game, right-hander Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres, coming off a really nice outing against the Cardinals. He gave up just 1 hit in 5 shutout innings, struck out 9. And Jesse, I think two things can be true at once, right? The bullpen, so good, such a big part of this Padres team, certainly another big reason why they won the game yesterday. But in the big picture, and this goes beyond the Cease conversation, but just in terms of him today, still having really good outings from your starters and having a guy like Cease provide some length, that still is really important, right? Despite this bullpen being so versatile and so good. Critically important,
you know, particularly in the next 6 weeks or so. Now, you and I have this conversation on October whatever before game 1 of the NLCS. I think it's a different conversation.
Right.
You know, I mean, look, would it be ideal for Michael King or Yu Darvish or Dylan Cease to go out there in a playoff game and give you 7 or 8? Absolutely. But the reality is in the postseason these days, if there's even a little bit of a sign of trouble in a close game in the 4th or the 5th inning, the teams are going to go for it because there's no tomorrow so often in the postseason. And so, you know, you might be in a situation where you see something that looks a little bit like last night in the playoffs, but you don't want to have to do it with any kind of regularity before we get there because obviously there are diminishing returns at some point. If you keep asking these guys to throw the kinds of innings that they've been throwing, they're not going to be as effective. So, yes, Cease today, whoever tomorrow, I haven't even looked at, I apologize, whoever the day after that and after that, you're going to want to, get as much as you can, particularly in the run-up to the postseason because at that point, truly, I think all bets are off.
Finally, Jesse, just to look at Brian Bayo, the Red Sox starter today, I put him in the category as one of those guys who plays in the other league on the other side of the country. Padres have never seen him before, but from afar, you know he's one of the more promising young pitchers in the game. He's been really, really good as of late. Brian Bayo, what can you tell us about him in your lead up to this game?
Yeah, I like the way you set it up. He falls into the category of guys I sometimes talk about as just because you haven't heard of him doesn't mean he isn't any good. You being, most fans out there, not you, Sam. Obviously, I know who you are. But the reality is he's not a household name on this coast by any stretch of the imagination. But he's a guy who's come a long way in the last couple of years. A homegrown Red Sox, good sinker baller, gets his grounders, not necessarily in a Logan Webb kind of way or a Christopher Sanchez kind of way, but he gets a lot of ground balls. He seems to have great moxie and guts out on the mound. When there's traffic, he's not a guy who folds. And with the ground balls, there's going to be traffic, right? We've seen that with Randy Vasquez. But he seems to do a really good job of buckling down when there are men on base. We've seen a lot of these guys this year, but he's one, he's 26, seems to really be kind of maturing into the pitcher that he's going to be. And he is a really, really big name to know for the Boston Red Sox. And look, I don't want to get way ahead of ourselves, but the reality is, hey, there's a possibility we see these guys deep in October. And if that's the case, odds are you're going to see Brian Bayo starting one of those first couple of games.
Yeah, I've been hesitant to say it as well because we're so far away from that. But it is, with the way these teams are playing, it is a matchup that you can sort of dream about for late October. And Bayo in particular, you're right, he's been very, very good. He's flirting with a sub-3 ERA in 20 outings this season. Bayo against Cease, the starting pitching matchup today. Jesse, we'll talk to you and Bob Scanlon coming up at the very top of the hour. As always, thanks so much.
You got it, Sammy. Thanks so much.
All right, that is Jesse Agler joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming up at 1:10 as we get ready for this series finale rubber match of this 3-game set. A lot to do between now and first pitch. When we come back, we'll revisit what Mike Shildt had to say after yesterday's thrilling 5-4 win in walk-off fashion in the bottom half of the 10th inning. Plus, a little bit later, I go one-on-one with Roman Anthony, one of the more promising rookies in the big leagues right now. Just signed a large contract extension with the Red Sox earlier this week, was the #1 overall prospect in baseball at the start of the season. So I have a nice conversation with Roman Anthony a little bit later as well. First pitch coming up at 1:10. Stay tuned right here on the Padres Radio Network.
Stay tuned to the EcoWater.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for today's game. First pitch coming up at 1:10 between the Padres and the Red Sox, the rubber game of this 3-game series. Military Sunday on the Padres Radio Network is presented by your San Diego County Toyota dealers. Every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, no cost maintenance standard, so you get peace of mind standard. Well, I want to give a special shout out to Felix, who's right in front of me. He's been waiting patiently to talk to me during the commercial, asked for a shout out, listening, getting ready for today's game. So a shout out to Felix, who's sitting right in front of me here inside the loft. As always, you can always come by the loft here inside the Western Metal Building and say hello anytime you want before any Padres game here at Petco Park. You know where to find me. I'm towards the back corner here. If you come in through the back side of the building, more towards the foul pole, I'm directly to the right. If you come through the doors from the entrance to the terrace level out there. You can see me in the back here. You won't miss me. I've got the 97.3 The Fan table and the tablecloth, and just look for me. Ask around. You'll find me back here if you want to say hello. Taking a look at the lineup today for the Padres, it looks like this. Fernando Tatis Jr. in right field leading off. Luis Arraez, the DH, batting second. Manny Machado at third base, batting third. Ryan O'Hearn up to the cleanup spot today, playing first base. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop, batting fifth. Jackson Merrill in center field, batting sixth. Ramon Laureano in left field, batting seventh. Jake Cronenworth at second base, batting eighth. And Freddie Fermin doing the catching and batting ninth. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres today. Brian Bayo on the hill for the Red Sox. As we get ready for this series finale, let's hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Day game after a night game, so no pregame media availability for Mike Shildt today. So let's revisit what Mike had to say after yesterday's 5-4 win in 10 innings. Obviously, Ramon Laureano, the walk-off base hit in the bottom half of the 10th inning. But that was just part of the story in last night's game. Michael King making his return to the mound, his first start in nearly 3 months with the Padres. 2 innings, 2 earned runs given up on a grand total of 57 pitches. He had a kind of a high-stress outing through 34 pitches in the second inning alone. But of course, good to see Michael King back on the mound and healthy, and hopefully it stays that way for Michael. As far as the Padres bullpen, they used everybody yesterday as far as the high-leverage guys. Jeremiah Estrada was great, 2 scoreless innings. Adrian Morejon got 2 outs. Mason Miller got 4. Robert Suarez did give up a run in the 9th inning, a blown save, but then Padres still had Jason Adam available for the 10th inning with the game tied, and that helped to get the game 2 with the bottom half of the 10th, gave the Padres an opportunity to win it. So Laureano is a star. Xander Bogaerts also had a home run and 2 RBIs, and he did score the winning run as well. And really, aside from Suarez giving up that 1 run in the 9th inning, Padres bullpen and the rest of the high-leverage guys, the high-octane arms, they were really, really good in yesterday's game. Let's revisit what Mike Shildt had to say after yesterday's win.
First of all, it's good to have Michael back. He would have, I'm sure, preferred to go longer, but what a good sight to see Michael King back on the mound for the Padres. Gutted through it, and then, we got to a point where we had to turn it over, and thankfully, we got a little bit of link from Nick last night, and here we go. We ran him out there, and Wandy was really good. We asked guys to pitch in some places they're not typical. They typically don't pitch in, but he's able to finish an inning, grab the next inning, and throw up a 0. Obviously huge. And then, we go to Estrada. And going into Estrada, we knew where we were, basically looking to take him, which was through Wong, and then have Morejon go. And, Brian Esposito says this, our bench coach, I like it a lot. Put the domino back into place a little bit. He goes 1, 2, 3. He's at 12 pitches. There is a decision. Okay, go to Jason there. But again, he was very effective. Has had 3 days off. Jeremiah. So we're going to run him back out and then have Morejon ready for Anthony. And he went 1, 2, 3. Got his 2 innings and put us in a really good place. And Adrian was great. And listen. In other circumstances, potentially, I can let Adrian have Story. But, at that point, you got 2 outs and you got Miller sitting there. So, and he's fairly rested. And so we take our shot with knowing he can grab 4 outs, which he did. It was great. And, stranded his guy in the 8th. And, the 9th, I thought Robert's stuff was really good. The 2 out, chopper, 2-strike rather, chopper, to Rafaela, kind of set us up, the bag. And then, Anthony hits the ball in the gap, but he kept it right there. We tapped down around a couple guys and then, of course, to your point, because Estrada was able to pick up the sixth, it allowed us to have a little bit of cushion in Jason Adam, who did a tremendous job. When you're hard to hit, you're hard to bunt too. And so he did a great job to get that clean 10th and, allow Laureano to be a hero.
Mike, just what did you make of Michael King's outing overall, just watching him, velocity, movement, control? What was your assessment of it?
After the first, I haven't talked to Ruben since because we had the rest of the game to manage and deal with. But after the first, and I asked Ruben about his, all his metrics and how things were coming out, and he said, spot on. Long second. One of the calculus getting him out for the third, he felt good. He felt good his whole rehab. But also to get him out there for that third time and get some pitches up as soon as Bregman, hit the double, it was it. But, it was just a matter of knocking off some of the rust.
Ramon, instant impact. I mean, he's been with the team for a little over a week and just, a lot of big hits. Just what do you make of the jolt he's provided and what he's done for you guys? Good player, another good player we added, and clearly he's helped us take stuff at bats, good against righties. He's just a good player and a tough player. And he's done a nice job in the outfield as well. He's made a couple plays really close at second today that I didn't think was even going to be an issue, but gets it in and gets, with some arm strength. But, like I say, he's a good player with a good approach. He's a winning guy.
As good as your bullpen is, you've talked about obviously not being able to do something like this every night. How important is it going to be for Michael to, come back and get stretched out and kind of be who he's always been? Yeah, it's going to be important. It really is. That's the one thing, like I said, to get him back out there, and we're going to ride him just to ride him because, this isn't a league where you just do that, but we took an opportunity to get him out for that third. And if he'd got Bregman, might have taken him through to Story, but now he's built up a little bit. He's gotten up 3 ups. If he's efficient and he's up to a certain number of pitches, he can get into that 4th and 5th. And I can see Michael easily doing that next time. But, whether it's Michael or any starter, I mean, we really do need to get innings out of our starters to be able to use our bullpen appropriately.
That was Padres manager Mike Shildt last night after the 5-4 win in 10 innings for the Padres against the Red Sox. We'll hear more from Mike in our postgame coverage coming up later on this afternoon. Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 1:10 here in downtown San Diego. Let's take you around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Umpire Jen Powell is working behind the plate for the first time today. That's a day after becoming the first female umpire to work a regular season game in the major leagues. Powell is behind the plate for today's game between the Braves and Marlins in Atlanta. Reds are getting a big arm back. Hunter Green will return to Cincinnati's rotation on Wednesday night. He's been out since early June with a strained right groin. The Phillies have called up 40-year-old reliever David Robertson 3 weeks after he signed as a free agent with the leaders of the National League East. Robertson now with another chapter in his 16-year major league career. This is his third stint with the Phillies. Cal Raleigh hit another home run last night for the Mariners, his 44th of the season. That already gives him the third most ever in a season by a catcher in major league history. Johnny Bench hit 45 in 1970. Salvador Perez of the Royals hit 48 home runs in 2021. Raleigh still has 43 games left to play in the regular season. Again, he's at 44 now. Certainly seems like a very good chance he passes Perez for the most home runs ever by a catcher in a single season by the end of the year. And that's a quick look at some of the headlines from today around the major leagues. When we come back, I go one-on-one with Red Sox rookie, one of the more promising young players in the game, Roman Anthony. Plus, we have our keys to the game, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, a deeper look at our starting pitching matchup between Dylan Cease and Brian Bayo. Much, much more to do as we get ready for today's game against the Red Sox right here on the Padres Radio Network.
The days of waiting weeks or even months for new countertops is over. The window
Welcome back to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal at keeping it soft. Since 1925, your water should be perfect. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building as we get ready for today's game series finale against the Red Sox coming up at 1:10. Let's give you the latest on today's injury report.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Well, Red Sox starting catcher Carlos Narvaez has been on the, not on the IL, but he's been out of the Red Sox lineup due to left knee soreness. And it turns out Padres are going to miss Narvaez in a starting capacity throughout this series. Connor Wong back in the lineup today for the Red Sox doing the catching, although Red Sox manager Alex Cora did say that Narvaez will start tomorrow for the Red Sox in Houston. So we'll see if Narvaez comes off the bench at all today for the Red Sox, but he is not going to start any of the 3 games here in San Diego. So he is out of the lineup once again for the Red Sox. But Alex Cora, Red Sox manager, again saying he's going to start tomorrow in Houston. So we'll see if Narvaez comes off the bench at all today in this series finale. And that's a quick look at who's out of the lineup for the Red Sox as we get ready for the finale of this 3-game set. Well, Roman Anthony, one of the more promising prospects in baseball. Anthony, entering the season, was considered by many as the top prospect in all of baseball, made his major league debut in early June. He then signed an 8-year, $130 million contract extension earlier this week with the Red Sox. According to reports, he could end up earning well over $200 million with escalators in the deal. He's certainly a very, very promising young player for the Red Sox. I caught up with Roman Anthony inside the Red Sox clubhouse. This was recorded, just so you know, and you'll hear Anthony reference last night a couple of times. This was recorded yesterday inside the clubhouse, to be honest with you. So when Anthony says last night, he's actually talking about Friday night. Nonetheless, here was my conversation with Red Sox rookie Roman Anthony. Sam Levitt here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for today's game. And right now I'm joined by Red Sox rookie outfielder Roman Anthony. Roman, welcome to San Diego. First time you've had the opportunity to play here as a major leaguer. First, have you ever been to San Diego before, to Petco Park? And what's the experience been like?
Yeah, actually, I was able to come here for the perfect game, like All-American game in high school, and that was my first time here. But obviously, it's a better situation to be playing here, you know, in the big leagues now. It's amazing here, and San Diego is unbelievable. I love this place, and last night was a blast, so it's been fun.
I would imagine the weather a little bit cooler here than the Northeast, New England in the heat of the summer.
Yeah. The weather here is, every time I've been to California, it feels like the weather's perfect. So it's awesome. It's exciting. The crowd last night, it was amazing. It's just a great place to play.
Roman, obviously, it's no secret. You come up a big-time prospect. You've had success. You had some big news earlier this week. We'll get to that in a second. But how would you describe this very early portion of your major league career?
It's been a blast. We got a great group of guys. We got a great staff. We got a great fan base. Fenway's unbelievable. So I got no complaints. I've got nothing but it's just been an absolute blast, and we're having fun playing good baseball. So it's been great.
As far as Fenway, obviously it's a pretty historic venue to go play at home. What's that been like playing in Boston at Fenway Park in particular?
It's amazing. The city's unbelievable. The fans, they show out every night. They're so passionate. They travel so well. You know, it's just a fun fan base to play for. It's a great city to play for, and I got nothing but great things to say so far.
You mentioned this team is playing well. You guys have really turned around this season to you, even though it's been, just a limited amount of time. You've been inside this clubhouse. What stands out to you about the way you guys are playing as of late?
Just how much fun we have with each other. We have such a great mix of younger guys, veteran guys, but there's really no separation. We're all just so close. We're all just having a blast, and everyone, for me being a 21-year-old guy in here, I feel like I'm the same age as everyone. Everyone's just super tight. We're all so close, and we're just, we take the field. We're having fun playing baseball.
We're joined by Red Sox rookie Roman Anthony here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for today's game between the Padres and the Boston Red Sox. You had some news earlier this week, signing an extension with the Red Sox. What were your emotions when that got done and you knew you were going to be in Boston for a while?
Amazing. From the time that I came up here and from the time, honestly, when I was an 18-year-old kid drafted into this organization, came up with these people, like always had a pretty good idea that this is where I want to be. And, I hadn't really know what to expect in the big leagues before I was there. And then, got there and the short time I've had here has been amazing. Living in the city has been amazing. Yeah. The guys are so awesome. And, when those talks came back around, it was a no-brainer for me.
Roman, it's no secret that as you were coming up and going through the minor leagues, even earlier this year, as, media would talk about when you were going to finally make your debut. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've been that top prospect guy for a long time now. How have you handled that part of coming up through the minors and making your debut, and I suppose potentially the pressure that comes along with that?
Yeah, I enjoy playing baseball. It's been a dream of mine ever since I was a little kid to just play baseball and be in the big leagues. And when I was in the minor leagues, I had one goal, which was to be a big leaguer. It wasn't to be the number one prospect. It wasn't to worry about rankings or anything that came along with it. Yeah, it was all nice. It's nice to be acknowledged for the work you put in, but to me, it was just I wanted to be a big leaguer, and I wanted to be a big leaguer as fast as I could and help this team win as quick as I can. So when I got here, it was just it was a dream come true, but at the same time, it was just understanding like, okay, hey, I'm here, I belong here, and now it's time to go. It's time to help this team win. And I think when you're here too, like nobody cares that you're the number one prospect. And you're surrounded by guys who have done it for 10 plus years. Like prospect status means nothing to them, and not in a bad way, but in the sense that like when you're here, it's time to win games and you got to help this team win any way possible. So for me, I felt like that switch and knowing that and understanding that pretty quickly was super helpful. And it's just been a smooth and easy transition so far with, like I said, with the group of guys we had. They made it so easy on me.
A couple more things for you, just talking about the group of guys. Obviously, there are veterans in this clubhouse, whether it be guys like Story or Pregame, list goes on. What kind of impact have those guys had on you?
So much. I've learned more than I could have ever imagined from those guys and more than I ever expected. But it's just a credit to them and to their character. Like they've, taken me with open arms and have gone out of their way to help me and gone out of their way to do things with me off the field and to kind of show me the ropes at the field, off the field, during the games, things like that have helped and that I've implemented into my game already at such a young age. And I feel like, there's nothing that can teach you more than a guy who's already done it and who's already been in your shoes and has learned and failed in your, in your position and can kind of give you that knowledge. So it's been amazing.
Finally, Padres have another young outfielder like yourself and Jackson Merrill, who kind of similarly came up last year, did really good things, signed an extension of his own with the team earlier this season. Your perspective on Jackson Merrill, the season he had last year, and kind of being contemporaries, if you will, as two really, really impressive young outfielders in this game.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. I got to watch him a lot last year. I don't know him very much at all. But obviously saw what he did last year and like watching the way he plays the game. I know he was an infielder who just kind of took that transition on. And it was fun to watch, I think, from spring training on. And he killed it last year and was an all-star and did everything that he did. It was super impressive. And I enjoy watching him play. He's a good baseball player. And, he does everything the right way when you watch him. He's pretty fundamentally sound on both sides of the baseball, and you can appreciate that in today's game. And he's fun to watch. It looks like he meshes with the group really well and kind of brings that young energy. And so yeah, it's exciting to watch. I'm excited to kind of get to know him over the years, but obviously super happy for him, and he's deserving of all that he's gotten. And it's exciting to be here and to watch these guys and to be on the other side of it.
Well, Roman, welcome to San Diego. Thanks so much for the time and all the great insight on the early part of your career. We'll catch up with you again down the road. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
That was Red Sox rookie outfielder Roman Anthony inside the Red Sox clubhouse. Anthony had a big hit yesterday, despite the Red Sox losing that game yesterday. Anthony back in the lineup for the Red Sox today. playing left field and leading off. Let's give you our keys to today's game. First pitch coming up at 1:10.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by El Centro Motors Ford. Meet your new Ford General Manager, Greg Ryan, now at El Centro Motors Ford, your new Ford truck, Bronco, and SUV HQ. Call Greg directly at 619-944-0774.
Key number one, Dylan Cease providing length. The Padres bullpen was used heavily last night. And remember, the Padres don't have an off day until Thursday. Jeremiah Estrada and Wandy Peralta each pitched two innings last night. Robert Suarez threw 24 pitches. Mason Miller threw an inning and a third. Adrian Morejon pitched. Jason Adam pitched. So doesn't mean that all those guys are unavailable today. I'm sure Suarez, Miller, Morejon, Adam probably are. However, considering the Padres don't have an off day until Thursday, would be nice for Dylan Cease to provide a little bit of length today. We'll see if he can do that. Of course, Cease coming off a very good outing against the Cardinals his last time out. Key number two, be better against Bregman. Alex Bregman, we spoke about Roman Anthony. He's sitting right behind Anthony in the number 2 spot in the Red Sox lineup today. Bregman has reached base safely in 7 of 10 plate appearances in this series. He's now batting .364 with a .462 on base percentage, .568 slugging percentage in his last 12 games. Key number 3, more Xander against his former team. Xander Bogaerts now has 3 home runs in his last 4 games, and it continues what has been a real resurgence for Xander. He's now hitting .340 and slugging .543 in 43 games since June 19th. In that span, since June 19th, his .943 OPS is the 4th highest in the NL. Bogaerts had his first hit against the Red Sox with that home run early yesterday. We'll see if Xander can keep it rolling here today, and that's a quick look at our keys to today's game as the Padres go for a series win. Let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a number of games going on right now. Royals and the Twins are tied at 3 in Minnesota. They're in the 10th inning there. Reds leading the Pirates 7-4 in the 7th inning in Pittsburgh. Astros lead the Yankees in the Bronx 4-1 in the 7th inning. Braves 3, Marlins 1 in Atlanta in the 7th. Orioles lead the A's 2-1 in Baltimore in the 8th inning. Tigers ahead of the Angels 9-3 in Detroit in the 7th. White Sox 5, Guardians 1 in Chicago in the 6th inning. Mets ahead of the Brewers in Milwaukee in the 5th inning, 6-5. Rangers lead the Phillies 2-1 in Arlington in the 5th. Everything else coming up a little bit later. Nationals and the Giants in San Francisco at 1:05. Mackenzie Gore against Justin Verlander. Rockies and the Diamondbacks in Arizona at 1:10. Rays and the Mariners in Seattle at 1:10. Blue Jays and the Dodgers in LA at 1:10. Eric Lauer against Tyler Glasnow, the pitching matchup in that one. And a little bit later today, Cubs and the Cardinals at 4 p.m. Shota Imanaga on the mound for the Cubs. Sonny Gray on the mound for St. Louis. And that's a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. On this Sunday, we'll have much more on those games coming up in our post-game coverage. When we come back, we tell you what to watch for in today's game. A quick look at today's starting pitching matchup between Brian Bayo and Dylan Cease. First pitch coming up at 1:10 on the Padres Radio Network.
You're listening to the EcoWater.
Our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 1:10. Padres going for a series win. Well, no surprise yesterday, another one-run game for the Padres. They've now won 25 one-run games this season, tied with the Mariners for the most in the major leagues. Meanwhile, Red Sox today looking to avoid consecutive losses for the first time in nearly 3 weeks. As we've said many times in this series, both these teams playing well. Padres at 65-52, Red Sox at 65-53. Padres have won 10 of their last 13. The Red Sox have won 8 out of their last 10 and 22 of their last 30 games. Let's tell you what to watch for in this series finale.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For, presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
What to watch for in today's game. Now, I'm not panicking about Manny Machado here, but I'm just making you aware. Manny was 0 for 4 last night. He's now 1 for 11 in his last 3 games. This is just a mini skid, a little tiny skid following a 13-game stretch where Manny had been terrific. He had 444 in a span of 54 at-bats. Of course, Manny entering today, hitting .297, 20 home runs on the year, and more than 70 RBIs. Manny has been terrific all year, and we've seen Manny, after having a mini skid this season, he usually bounces right back. So, what to watch for in today's game? Can Manny Machado get things going once again here today against right-hander Brian Bayo on the mound for the Red Sox and against this Red Sox bullpen? How does Manny Machado contribute to today's game? That's what to watch for today against the Boston Red Sox. Quick look at today's starting pitching matchup between Dylan Cease and Brian Bayo. Bayo comes in. He's having a really good year, 8-5, a 3.03 ERA in 20 outings, 116 innings. He's allowed 106 hits, struck out 88, and walked 42. Bayo beat the Cardinals last Wednesday, gave up just 1 unearned run in 6 innings of work. He has been really, really good as of late, a 2.26 ERA in his last 10 starts. Meanwhile, on the mound for the Padres today, right-hander Dylan Cease comes in 4-10, a 4.60 ERA in 23 starts this season. He's allowed 112 hits. He struck out 162 on the season. He has been up and down this year, as we know. However, he did beat the Cardinals last Sunday here at Petco Park, allowed just 1 hit in 5 scoreless innings, struck out 9. It was Dylan Cease's first win since June 21st. So now Dylan Cease, after going a long while without a dub, he's trying to get 2 straight wins here today as he takes on the Boston Red Sox. As always, thank you for listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Your water should be perfect. Well, the Padres losing on Friday night, a rare game that got away from San Diego, losing 10-2 yesterday, and then, 10-2 on Friday. Then yesterday, Padres embarking in a seesaw battle with the Red Sox. Back and forth it went. They won it in extras. Ramon Laureano, a walk-off base hit in the bottom half of the 10th inning. Can the Padres find a series win against a very good Red Sox team here today? We're going to find out in just a little bit. When we come back, Jesse Agler, Bob Scanlon have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Say it's got to be fine. Come on down, come on down.
Cole's Fine Flooring has closed, and Sid